We'll go to the gentleman from Wisconsin, my friend Mr. Steil.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to recognize your time and your leadership in this committee. As we look around this room, there's a number of men and women that are on the walls today or will be in the future, and soon your portrait will be there. And as we look up every one of these portraits, I think you recognize both the substance and the style of the man or woman who is or will be on this wall. It's hard to paint in the substance, and that is your knowledge, your understanding of how this institution works, in particular, not only in this committee, but your leadership as Chief Deputy Whip, as I would call it, the 55th and a half Speaker of the House, and your true leadership as Speaker Pro Temp in this institution during a challenging time. In your leadership shown here on this committee, your ability to truly deliver policy, to work across the aisle, to navigate the intricacies. That's hard to paint. But I think what people will look up and recognize is the style, which is your signature bow tie. A cursory review of the history of the bow tie says it dates back to the 30 Years' War, which was a darn confusing period of time in European history. And sometimes those of us here in Congress feel like Congress may be as confusing to understand today as the 30 Years' War is to understand for those of us that appreciate history. It would turn into a French fashion statement, and in the United States, somewhere in the 1880s, it became a staple of fashion in the United States. This committee really dates back to 1865, after the Civil War, when it was the Banking and Currency Committee. Would take on a lot of the role of what the Ways and Means Committee had done up to that date. Would take the name of financial services, I believe, in the 1960s. And so when people look up, I think they'll recognize that you were probably not here back when this was still a staple of fashion. Although there may be a young man or a woman who arrives in this committee room decades from now that will look up and wonder if you were the chairman in the 1880s. But upon research, they will recognize your hard work and dedication, not only to this committee as chairman in this term, but really your dedication to the institution of the United States House of Representatives. And so I look forward to the day where we're sitting here and your portrait is on this wall. It will unquestionably capture the style of your work with a signature bow tie, I trust, but it will never capture the true substance that you brought to this committee and this institution. We're thankful for your leadership, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. I very much appreciate it.
I'll be brief with my remaining time, and I apologize that I'll leave it short on the substance here. But I want to go to you, Ms. Dixon, if I can. Very interested as we think about tokenization of assets. I think it can really lower costs. Anytime new technology comes online, the human mind is really good at identifying potential risk. I think we're not as good at identifying the benefits. I think that was true when the ATM came online. There were headlines that said, bank tellers will all lose their jobs as money robots operate. Obviously, it didn't come to fruition. Actually, really improved a lot of jobs in the banking industry, and we found good safeguards to prevent theft and fraud. As we think in Congress, in particular, my concern about illicit finance, there's a lot of discussion on this point. We're good at identifying risk. There are concerns that illicit actors could utilize it. What are some of the safeguards that we should be thinking about in Congress as it relates to preventing illicit finance from utilizing digital assets?
Thank you for the question. You've highlighted the tokenization piece, which I think not only, just to give you a dollar point on that, Franklin Templeton has said that 50,000 transactions used to cost them $50,000 to clear and settle. On Stellar's blockchain, 50,000 transactions cost them $120. So it's a big, big difference. So it does get to the place where this is really beneficial for not just the individuals on the edge, but it's also really beneficial for the companies that are leveraging it.
Do we need to revise some of our rules and regulations as it relates to preventing illicit finance in this space, or do you think the rules are in place are sufficient?
I think that the rules that are in place are sufficient. We're dealing with technology that is transparent. We're dealing with technology that provides so much more information than we've ever had in this ecosystem. You can actually follow the asset from the date of creation all the way to where it is today. That is not something you can do with a paper dollar. So I think that we actually need to take a step back and look at so many of the tools that we have available to us and leverage those tools before we create any changes to the legislation around illicit finance.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your leadership, your counsel, and I do look forward to your portrait being on the wall. I yield back.
Mr. Steil, thank you, and thank you for your long-term friendship. Your advice